than just hair.
I came to the United States when I was around 5-6 years old. I was very, very upset. I wanted to go back to Pakistan, but that lasted only about 5 to 6 months. After that, I was so happy. I started wearing the hijab back in 2007. I was 27 years old, and at that time I was attending a lot of Islamic lectures, and I felt very connected to the fact that I needed to cover myself just so that I can feel more closer to God. The meaning of a hijab is a veil worn by a Muslim woman. It's not so much a cultural thing as it is a religious thing. It is a command from God written in the holy book of the Muslims, the Quran. It's pretty much mandatory for Muslim women to wear, but God also gives you free will. I was in a museum in Manhattan, and I had a man approach me in a very nice and low tone. He touched me on my shoulder and he said, "You know, you're in America, you don't have to wear this." He completely caught me off guard, and I looked at him and I said, "That's very sweet of you, but why do you really think that I wear the hijab?" And he looked at me and he said, "I know you're forced to. You can take it off here." And I just looked at him and I said, "No, this is my own choice. No one forced me into it. I don't want you to think that I'm oppressed, or, you know, a man in my life is forcing me to wear it." It just seemed like his mind was set, as if he'll back me up if I if I decide to take off my hijab. It gave me a sense of, or the realization that maybe a lot of other people feel the same way when they look at me with the hijab. My routine for my hair when I used to wear the hijab was very, very simple. Just tie up my hair in a bun and put the hijab on, and I'm out the door. Now that I don't wear the hijab, I do have to be mindful of my hair and how it looks when I'm going out. But when I was thinking of taking the hijab off, it took me 3 years. It was quite a struggle. The reason I stopped wearing the hijab was because, quite frankly, I just didn't feel connected to it anymore. I didn't feel like I had to wear a hijab in order to show my faithfulness or my sincerity to my religion. I want my children to grow up to be confident about their religious affiliation. Even with my girls, they will wear the hijab if they want to. They will not wear the hijab if they don't want to. Being with the hijab for 10 years made me very, very happy, and now being without it makes me very happy.
I do think your hair is part of what you portray to the world. It was very difficult to go through young childhood with short hair. I think I was about 15 years old and I started going for frostings, and I don't think I ever looked back. The role models that we had growing up were Farrah Fawcett, Cheryl Tiegs, Christy Brinkley. I mean, these were all women who were very pretty women who had long blonde hair, and it was big blonde hair. When I have long hair, I feel good about myself. Officially, October 2016, I was diagnosed with endometrial and ovarian cancer. New Year's Eve, going into 2017, I was getting ready to go to dinner with some friends and my husband, and I started to style it, and it started pulling out in big chunks and falling into the sink. And I just started to cry. I decided to go to the beauty parlor, and I had a hat, and I went in and I said to them to shave the rest off. I got home and I sat in the chair and I waited for my husband to come home from work, and when he walked in, he said, "Okay," he's like, "Are you ready?" And I looked into the mirror and he said, "I want you to know that regardless whether you have hair or not, that you're beautiful." And then people would say, "Well, you're going to get your hair back. It's only temporary. Don't be upset about it. Minimize that it's not so important to have your hair." It made me a little more angrier because for me, my hair meant so much to me, and I looked in the mirror, I didn't see me anymore. I didn't even know who the person was staring back some days. Well, anything I went through with the cancer was easier, I think, for me because my mom had already gone through all of the things I did. Unfortunately, this is not the way you want to bond with your parent, but she was able to walk me through and talk me through things that probably no parent wants to walk their child through. I think that helped me more than anything. That's the person you go to. You go to your mom. Started to come in dark, so you get to see your real color after all those years. Each week, a little more, and there was like these moments where I'd say, okay, I'm hoping by this particular date it's to my ears. I'm hoping it's to the bottom of my neck. And again, you know, it might seem very sort of shallow in some ways, but you know, this is like signs of progress and signs of hope. And the more things go back to normal, the more you start to feel normal again. There's so many things in life that aren't important that we put a focus on. But when you're sick, you have to take care of yourself and take advantage of the love and support that you're given, because you need all of that to get through these times. You cannot do it alone.
I come from a Dominican background, so it's a rite of passage to get a relaxer, aka a perm in your hair. Got to the point where I thought that my hair was naturally straight. I didn't know there was a thing as curly hair. I just didn't. I was in beauty school, so I started getting a basic foundation and understanding, and finally realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm not naturally straight and I'm getting a relaxer in my hair. So when I stopped straightening my hair, definitely there was some negativity from mom, from grandma. Some of the things they would say is, and I'll say this, I guess, in Spanish, arréglate ese pajón. And that's a word that anybody from my culture has grown up with it and has heard it in such a negative form. It's just a word. And I'm gonna tear. One of the main things that will always be engraved in the memory, just hearing that word to describe my hair. It took me a lot to get over that. I kept looking in the mirror and telling myself, no, like, my hair is pretty. And when I first started in the beauty industry, all there was to do was straight hair. Somebody recommended the Deva Curl Salon in the city. I was amazed. I had never walked into a salon that catered to curly hair like that. I love this so much. I want to own a place and help out curly girls. I have a vision of how I want my shop to be. I just decided to make this place a place where a curly girl doesn't have to be afraid that your hair looks crazy, that it's puffy, that it looks this and that. What I like to say now is it started as a movement, but for a lot of us now, it's a lifestyle. We love our natural hair. I don't think that there's anything that's gonna make us go back. The advice that I would give someone, look in that mirror and say, my hair is beautiful. I am beautiful. This is me. Hold that chin up high. It's from the heart first.
Annabelle was born on September 17th, 2014. Her father is of Haitian descent. I am of Eastern European and Native American descent. She has this great imagination right now that she's just enjoying life, and it's really fun to watch her grow and develop into this young personality. Hair really was part of my identity from a very young age. I was 8 years old, I think, when I got my first perm, like a real perm in a salon. It was the thing to have big hair back in the 80s, so my grandmother thought it would be a good idea to get an 8-year-old's hair permed. When Ben and I decided that we were going to start a family, I would actually get asked a lot of questions. How do you think you're going to deal with the hair? It is something that we thought about from the time of conception, and it's something that actually worried me. The educational process is forever evolving in this household. We talk a lot about it, and we embrace her hair. I think that's the biggest thing that I can do for her, and not being scared to try different things to help bring out the natural beauty that she has. Belle's perception of her hair varies on a day-to-day basis. There are some days where she will flaunt her hair and say it's so gorgeous and she loves it and she has great hair. And there are other days where I don't know if something happens at school or something happens in a conversation, but she does sometimes get upset about the fact that she has curly hair and it's not like mine, or it's not like her other friends at school. So I don't know, it's just difficult to see her already stressing about her hair when she's 4. I hope that she embraces her hair, her eye color, her skin color, her body. Just instill the fact that no matter what happens, she's beautiful and she's smart, and it's not all about the hair. It's not all about, it's about being a good person, and it's about being kind, and it's about being generous. And I just really hope that she's able to just, be that strong woman and be very proud of who she is and her heritage, embrace it, and, maybe even create, some culture change and help others around her. Hopefully in 20 years, this isn't a conversation anymore. And I do think that personalities like Annabelle can help lead some of that change.